Warning: this podcast may be disturbing to some listeners. Due to the graphic nature, listener discretion is advised.
Keep the demon inside me. Keep the demon inside me. Keep the demon inside me.
Welcome from wherever you are. This is The Demon Inside with your host, John Venom. If you want to review a different episode of The Demon Inside, you can find them on Spotify or Anchor. And don't forget to subscribe to this podcast. A new episode will come out every Monday. And now, to our show.
Keep the demon inside me.
We'll be right back after these messages from our sponsors. And welcome back to The Demon Inside. Again, I emphasize a warning at this time again. You're going to hear racist remarks and the death of Ricardo Lopez at the end of this. So if you are offended by any of this, I suggest you not listen to it.
3. Hello. My name is Ricardo Lopez. It is January 14th, 1996. Today's my birthday. I'm 21. Now, yesterday I purchased this camera. Today I purchased a tripod. And I will begin a documentation of my life, of my art, and of my plans. Do you want to see something funny? I'm going to show you who I am. I am a monster. Can you see me smiling at you? Anyway, without getting sidetracked, Bjork has been an incredible part of my mind since 93, since I first saw her. I've started with a crush, and ended up with an obsession, which I'm not embarrassed to admit, no, it's an obsession. It sort of has calmed down at times, I've been okay with it. A lot of times it's flared up. The flaring usually comes about by, reading an article that just, is like, oh my god, I can't fucking. Well, this, if I'm not mistaken, January 2nd, I believe, I went to Borders. I purchased a magazine, a couple of magazines, and I got enthusiastic about sending for more information about her and all that stuff, because I did for a while, then I stopped, and now again, I sent. Let me show you. See all these? These are money order receipts. I sent for information. All sorts of information, where she lives, again, to different things, autograph, posters, there's about as much information as I can get about it, and one of which was in the magazine Spin, where I learned, to my surprise, and quite happily, that there was a hotline of concert dates. And lo and behold, Bjork was on there. Had her address and Electra Entertainment, which is no good except for the 123 number or whatever, 231 number that suite number that I have before. That wasn't big shit, and learning that now she's in she's in London now, but she's gonna be to Tokyo and gonna be to Taiwan and Beijing and all over the southeastern part of the world, or whatever that is. Okay, one of the most, I don't know the word, damaging, the only thing I can say is damaging thing, was that, perhaps let me give you a little example. Look at this. Look at this beautiful face. This cute, innocent, sweet and shy thing. Whoa. She's fucking a nigger. Can you believe that? Yes. Fucking nigger. That's unacceptable. Yep, tricky. Like in the article in the Entertainment Weekly a few months back, there had been some rumors, that both of them were together, this and that, but apparently she had, she had said that, she didn't say no, she didn't deny it, but she said no, that if she always went out with the members of her band or whatever, next thing you know, she'd be a groupie and something like that, and she never wanted a boyfriend when she was little, all this bullshit. Turns out, I called the hotline number, got in the section where it says personal information, and it said that both of them were a hot item. It said Tricky himself in an interview in alternative press, which I'm not, unfamiliar with. I'm not gonna get it, by the way. I can't get that. I'll explain later on. But he said that he talked all about her, how he liked her, and once he met her, he couldn't. Look, personally, maybe he's a nice guy, maybe he's not a nice guy, maybe he's an opportunist, but he's a fucking nigger. That's it. Okay. I don't give a shit about him. So be it. Whose fault is that? That's right. That's her fault. And that's completely unacceptable to me. And I'm just gonna have to kill her.
Hello, my Demon Insiders, and welcome back to The Demon Inside. I'm your host, John Venom, and today we will be talking about the Demon Inside, Ricardo Lopez. Ricardo Lopez is also known as the Bjork Stalker. And if you've heard of the story before, you know that Ricardo Lopez doesn't kill anybody, but he tried. Bjork is the Icelandic singer who was very popular in the 90s. Ricardo became very infatuated with her. And his love was so much that he put her on a pedestal so high that nobody was good enough for her, not even himself. He never wanted to have sex with her. He stated that. He just wanted to treat her as if she was a virgin princess. But when he found out that she was dating a man, he went ballistic. I'm bringing you Ricardo Lopez today because I did an episode of Jacqueline Addis, who, if you'll remember, was from episode 24 of this first season. And if you haven't heard Jacqueline Addis's story, I suggest you go back and listen to it. She was also obsessed with a man in Arizona, where she was saying that she wanted to wrap herself in his skin and be very close to him. Ricardo Lopez was so infatuated with Bjork and so in love with her that he had been infatuated with her for over 3 years. 3 years. You know, you really have to think about that. Have you ever been infatuated with anything for any period of time? Sometimes he would go to his mother's, go back home, or he would, do other stuff, and it would kind of get away from him for a minute, but then he was always coming back to being with Bjork. It cost him his family, cost him his friend, it cost him his job, and even a counselor was concerned about him because putting this much effort into anything is not healthy. And to think he had never met her, not even seen her in concert. But before I get ahead of myself, let me start off with his journal. He had an 803-page journal that talked about his first crush, who is Gina Davis. The only problem with Gina Davis was that she was married. Now, he quoted that he had seen the movie Thelma and Louise more times than John Hinckley had seen Taxi Driver. And as we all know, John Hinckley was infatuated with Jodie Foster. But for him to be comparing himself to John Hinckley is really amazing, because he's comparing himself to another stalker. He's not denying who he is or what he is. And that's a reason that he started making his journals. And his journals stopped when Bjork confessed her love or not confessed her love, but there was a relationship between her and Goldie, another entertainer, a male, and Ricardo was upset, to say the least. And being that the man was black, it even pissed him off even more, because Ricardo thought himself as a cockroach and that everybody was cockroaches. But when he started turning into this demon of his, this obsessed being, he started thinking that he was better than everybody else. He was no longer a cockroach. He was becoming a savior to Bjork. He was becoming her number one, and he wanted to protect her from everybody. But he saw this man as infiltrating her and coming in and messing her up, and she would never be the same again. But instead of taking out his frustration and his anger on Goldie, of course he started to take it out on her, because she allowed it to happen. She allowed him to take over her life when it shouldn't have been him at all. It should have been Ricardo Lopez. Ricardo at this time decided that he was going to kill Bjork. He felt that if she wasn't going to take care of herself, he was going to take care of her. He started off with a simple thought of, if I'm not going to have her, nobody else will. But little by little, if you start reviewing these videotapes, these VHS tapes that he created, which are on YouTube and other websites, when he started creating this, he created the testimony of a stalker to show how a stalker thinks. Ricardo goes from point A to point B and so forth and so on. When he first started, he wanted to kill Bjork with a bomb, basically a parcel bomb, a package bomb that was hidden in a book, and load the book with syringes of AIDS blood. And when she would open the book, the syringes would pop out and hit her, and she would get AIDS. But eventually he figured he couldn't get AIDS because he didn't have them himself, and if he would have gone around looking for somebody that had AIDS, he might have actually been caught earlier than what he wanted. And this was the only way he could do it. He didn't want to have sex with her.
We will be right back after a word from our sponsors. And welcome back to The Demon Inside.
And I believe at the same time, too, her not being in the United States helped her in many ways, because if she was here in the States, I think he would have gone and visited her. And I think her being overseas, he couldn't afford to go. And at that time, his parents and his mother and therapist all were questioning what was going on with him. So he went ahead and devised a different plan. Instead of AIDS, he was going to give her an acid bomb. Same thing, put it in a book, and these videos, all 22 hours of them, there's 11 videos, and I think he bought this as a package deal. It was 11 videos, and I think he knew that at the end of the 11th video, he was going to commit suicide, and he was going to kill Bjork. And what's funny is that I remember vaguely that they used to sell 10 videotapes for however much it was, plus one bonus one. So if you'd like to even think that him killing Bjork and himself was a bonus video, then that's probably what it was. So he sends this package off that has acid inside, and he had actually ordered 2 different kinds of acid, because the first acid that he got wasn't good enough, and the second one was better, sulfuric acid. And he filled it up, and he shows himself doing everything on the videos, how to make it, how to order it, everything. And this wasn't like on the internet nowadays where you just few clicks of the keys and you get what you want. It's at the front door. No, this was, he had to take his time to call and give his information and send, a check or a money order or something, along those lines. And it took a while before it got to him. But he made it happen. And the way he was going to give it to Bjork was he was going to put the book in a package, do it from a real movie production company, and send it to her saying that he or the company wanted her to act in a movie, and that they were sending her this book because they thought that there was a part in it that was perfect for her. And her getting excited would open up the book, and that's what would spray her with the acid. So at this point, he didn't really think the acid was going to kill her. He thought maybe at best it was going to deform her. Throughout the videos, like I said, it started to progress from "I'm going to kill you" to "I just want you to remember who I am." And basically, his stalkerish motives was, I want you to look in the mirror every day after the acid covers you and think about me. Just like I've thought about you for the last 3 years, I want you to think about me the rest of your life, because that's what you did to me. And the thing is, Bjork never did anything to him. She never even knew about him until he died. After he sends the bomb, he basically turns into a demon. And this is where my supernatural reasoning comes into play. He starts to shave his head. He calls this his execution look. I don't know why he shaved his head. Maybe he figured that when he shoots himself through the mouth and coming out of the back of his head, it'll be easier for his brains and the blood to pop out. Now, let me tell you why I say that, because behind him is a poster board that he wrote, "The Best of Me," and putting that, the best of me, with his brains and blood on it, that's what it was going to be, the best of him. I understand his logic of thinking, but then again, he painted his face green, red, and black. Now think about that. Why would he do that? He knew he was going to be dead within a matter of minutes. So why would he paint his face? And just as a reference, on all my other podcasts, I've talked about that there was religion in their life, and his mother was very religious, his family was very religious, and they were diehard Catholics. And I believe that coloring his face, there was a reason to it. We just don't know what it was. Now, green, red, and black have symbolisms. And for red, the color means war, violence, blood, strength, energy, power, and success in a war. And it also symbolized happiness and beauty. So with the red, he was becoming a warrior. With the green color, it was endurance and harmony. So harmony within himself, knowing that he was going to kill himself, knowing that he was going to kill Bjork. It was believed to have great healing powers, the green, and improve one's visions. And visions of nature and of himself and of everything around him. And black symbolized living and was considered to be an aggressive color. It was painted on the face to prepare for war. It signified strength and also that the warrior had proved himself in the battle. It also symbolized victory and homecoming to the camp. So with these three colors in his face and looking totally different, and while he's looking different, he's telling the camera, pretty much telling everybody that's going to look at it, that he's getting ready to die. That he already has his gun, he's already cut his hair, he's colored his face. He's done everything he needs to do for his own execution. That's what he called it, his execution look. So the last song that's played on the video is a song from Bjork, "I Remember You." And while this song is playing, he's sitting there and he's singing to it. So some of these lyrics go like this. "I remember you. You're the one that made my dreams come true a few kisses ago. I remember you. You're the one that said I love you too. Didn't you know? I remember too a distant bell and stars that fell like rain out of the blue. When my life is through and the angels ask me to recall the thrill of them all, I shall tell them, I remember you." I think this is him listening to Bjork's song, thinking that she's singing to him, and he's actually channeling her spirit into himself to feel like they are one, like they're close. After a little while, right before the end of the song finishes, he starts breathing heavy. Because he's sitting on the sofa and he's breathing heavy. He's got the gun in his hand, and behind him, I told you earlier was a sign that says the best of me. And there was also with the 22 hours of video on the wall saying these videos are for the FBI. So he already knew that this was going to happen. He knew that the FBI and the police were going to come arrest him. Whether it worked or not, he already knew that was going to happen. So he starts breathing heavy. And I think he's getting his heart rate up, his blood rate up, so that it would make more of a mess on the poster board that's behind him. So for you people that have never heard this before, this is really a dramatic situation. This is a guy that really does kill himself. And you're going to hear his death. So again, if you don't want to hear this, just fast forward and don't listen to this because it's very graphic in nature. And if you're underage, please don't listen to this. You don't need these kind of nightmares. Take a listen.
Picture you!
Just a regular working man who paid his bills and came home, went to sleep, and didn't bother a soul.
But what 21-year-old Ricardo Lopez's neighbors didn't know is that he had an obsession. An obsession with alternative rock singer Bjork Goodman's daughter. An obsession which in the end cost Lopez his life and almost seriously injured her.
Obviously, he wanted to bring her harm. To what extent, we're uncertain.
Police say it was inside this small Hollywood apartment. Lopez constructed a device designed to spray sulfuric acid on the singer. He then concealed it in a hollowed-out book and mailed it to Bjork in London, England. Fortunately for the singer, Lopez documented it all on videotape.
We had seen on the videotape that he actually packaged it and mailed it, and we knew from the videotape the address to which he had mailed it. We then contacted Scotland Yard. They were able to locate it in a post office in South London, and then they were able to detonate it without incident.
The twisted tale began to unravel yesterday when Lopez's body was discovered inside his Hollywood apartment. Police say he shot himself in the head. A message scrawled on the wall alerted police to a videotape depicting the suicide. It was labeled, "Last Day, Ricardo Lopez." Inside Lopez's apartment, police also found pictures of the rock singer, CDs, and other paraphernalia. They also found 10 other videotapes documenting how Lopez made the device. On one of the videotapes, Lopez talked about why he wanted to hurt the rock singer.
He mentioned on one of the videotapes that she apparently was dating a black man and that was unacceptable to him.
Lopez's brother, who spent the day cleaning out Ricardo's apartment, had little to say. What about just what was written on the wall and what you think about all this?
I mean, to tell you the truth, I don't know. I don't know, really.
Again, as always, thanks for listening to The Demon Inside, and we'll see you next week. Don't forget to subscribe to The Demon Inside on Spotify, Anchor, or any other podcast directory, or through our website, anchor.fm/The Demon Inside. A new episode of The Demon Inside comes out each Monday. Let us know what you think and join the conversation on our Demon Inside Facebook page and on Instagram. We thank you for listening and hope you'll join me next Monday for a new Demon Inside. If you enjoyed this episode, tell your friends. I'm John Venom. We'll see you next time, if I don't get possessed. The Demon Inside was created and written by James Porter. It's a production of Venomous Entertainment. theme music, Demon Inside, is on the album Conjure One by Reese Fulber. Background music was created by Lucas King.